Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Obviously, Xavier was a guy we were really excited about, and we were kind of just playing the board, and then we had an opportunity to do something there. It was important for us to kind of keep our picks, too, so we still had some picks to work with in the next few days.
We're glad to have him on board. I think he's a heck of a football player, number one. He does a few different things. He's a good wide receiver and also a good special teams returner, and he'll end up doing both.
I just don't know that Xavier Worthy is a first-round caliber receiver. And since I understand going out and getting Kingsley Samaritara, you want to have another tackle prospect. And I see Worthy as kind of a one-trick pony.
You know, the guys on the offensive side of the ball, one of the things that they always mention first is the opportunity to play with Patrick and how excited they are about that.
Perez takes ball one. Now he swings it to fly ball to right. Renfro going back to the wall, looking up, and it's gone. A home run. Wenceel Perez. 2-run shot. Tigers take a 2-1 lead in the first.
It's bringing us a lot of hits and runs and stuff, so I'm all for it. I mean, for anyone that hasn't been following, it's a substantial packaged sausage that Jeffers has been carrying around in his bag and throwing at people when we score runs and hit homers.
My eyes were set on 7-6, but yeah, gotta make it where you're at.
Cale Makar got around his stick. McKinnon at the circle, lets it go. Checked down by Lehkonen. Nichushkin, he scores! All aboard! Val Nichushkin gets his second goal of the period.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Talk of the town. Welcome in. Monday show for you, Steve Webster, Mike Corson, and Aaron Clark. Mike Hesher also running things behind the papers here in the Mayo Money Management Studios. On the show today, Barton baseball coach Brent Biggs will be joining us. We'll talk Great Bend Tribune's Jim Mizunas. Great Bend track and field coach Lyles Lashley will be on the show today. A lot of weekend sports headlines to go over and sounds of the weekend. All right. Drake Relays, you got your shirt on.
Got two long sleeve shirts on, so if you have any Gatorade, no, just a good time. Unlike the KU Relays, which is a lot of the best in high school and around the region, the Drake Relays been going on 114 years. They have a professional/elite collegiate division, so got to see a lot of Big Ten athletes, American world record holder in the pole vault, and just some overall great track at a great facility.
It's
and
your
some
time of year,
tornadoes.
isn't it?
Gets to be a bit much at times, but I do that to myself.
Okay. And you got a bib that was left on the track, but you don't know whose it belongs to.
Yeah, they couldn't find the trash can, so I pretended like I was going to throw it away and then threw it away in my book bag.
Okay, so there was not a media race this time.
Correct. Thank goodness.
They knew Corson would win. There'd be no reason. They knew he'd been training and he was ready to step it up and dust them.
I think any media race, even if it's a 400, should involve jumping over the steeplechase and into the water on the other side. I think that'd be hilarious.
And then let the athletes take pictures, because this was only my third steeplechase I've ever seen, second to get good photos of, and that's where everybody lines up. It's like the height of sport, is watching people jump in the water.
Could you see guys going over? They wouldn't even jump. They'd go up there and just kind of
cannonball,
throw one leg over the top and pull themselves over and then continue. I always like the steeplechase. That's if they would just have crocodiles in the water. I mean, that would even make it better.
Yeah, some people don't even try to jump over the water. They just jump in, and I think alligators or crocs would at least incentivize them.
At least little biting eels, like just little
piranha. I mean, throw something in there.
Go.
But I will say there was supposedly 5 Paris Olympians in that race Saturday, so not only got to see a steeple, but got to see high-level talent.
Why don't you go to Paris? I mean, that's
you
the next
can get
step.
me in. I'll send in.
I mean, you go on all these. You're like a national track and field reporter now.
I don't have a passport.
Mission of the summer: get Mike Corson a passport.
Doesn't matter here in this country. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter here. I guess if you go overseas, they want some credentials before they let you into the country. Okay. All right. Very good stuff. Hey, Hesh, I'm glad you like that. Okay, sounds of the past 24 hours, sounds of the weekend. We didn't get to talk about the draft much. In fact, not at all, since we didn't have sports day on Thursday and Friday. So Brett Veach on the Chiefs moving up with a trade with Buffalo to select Texas wide receiver Xavier Worthy with the number 28 pick in the NFL draft, trying to give Patrick Mahomes speedy deep threat. So they have their deep threat back. Hopefully he can catch the football now. And I thought, there you go, Buffalo, another AFC team trading with the Chiefs again.
And it'd be one thing if they had kind of gouged the Chiefs and made it a steep price to come up to that pick, but it was extremely reasonable. It was 3 picks swapped for 3 picks. The Bills or the Chiefs ended up getting a first round, a 4th, and a 7th from Buffalo. I don't know. It'd be one thing if Buffalo's like, yeah, you can come up to get your guy, but we're going to need a 3rd rounder this year and a 3rd next year. But when it's kind of an even swap like that, it makes it feel kind of bad, especially if Xavier Worthy does develop into a problem like he could. He's got the speed to be hard to cover, and in an offensive scheme like Andy Reid's, they're going to know how to use him. Tough, kind of worrisome move, and got some Buffalo fans up in a tizzy.
Yeah, I'm shocked that there's any naysayers on this. I think those are kind of, look at me, I got a hot take. You got a career maker in Patrick Mahomes. He'll prove that speed is crucial to what Patrick Mahomes can do, and here's a guy who has the best speed in the draft.
Well, I mean, Tyreek Hill plays. I mean, how many of them you remember it was like just a straight post when he ran past everybody and the ball was thrown right on the numbers and he hit him in stride and went in for it? No, it was Mahomes running around, and then he'd heave it downfield, and you can't cover Tyreek Hill that long, but it's further downfield instead of running around like he did last year and then, find somebody for a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, so this kid's good enough to go to UT, so I'm guessing he can catch a football. Obviously, he's fast. Yeah, it's backyard football.
I'm really excited to see what just having that dynamic kind of speed does, not only for being able, Patrick Mahomes being able to get it too Worthy, but just in what it frees up for the rest of the offense when the league now does have to cover for the fact that Mahomes has not only 4-2-1 on the league, but they also brought in Marquise Brown. That's 2 very fast receivers. It's going to be fun to have that element back in the Kansas City offense.
And then we'll just see if Rashees, what do you think, 8 games?
That feels about right. Maybe higher wouldn't be out of question, but
all right. Andy Reid on what will make Worthy a worthy, valuable member of the Chiefs offense. Yeah, we heard a lot about that over the weekend. Well, this new kickoff return rule, we're going to, bring in backup linebackers, things like that. Let's see. Bill Barnwell, ESPN NFL writer, why he doesn't love the Chiefs selections, the NFL draft. Xavier Worthy was probably not a number 1. Well, he's down at the bottom. What else were you going to get?
The big knock against him I don't think he weighs 175 pounds, or at least when he weighed in at the combine, I think he was something like 172, which is just so light for an NFL wide receiver. But as the game does shift, defenses are getting smaller too. Defensive backs are getting a little smaller. Maybe he'll be able to make it work. We have seen guys like Devontae Smith in Philadelphia be able to work with a smaller frame. If the Chiefs are willing to work around his size and not ask him to catch those balls over the middle where a safety could take his head off.
Mecole Hardman wasn't
that
big either. I mean, throw the ball across the middle. Well, okay, if he's running fast enough, you're going to be just stand there. You're going to are you sitting down in the middle of the field waiting for this guy to come by, and then if you get him, you better hit him right.
Got to hit him square because he's shifty, and there is some credence to believe that if he had a little bit of a better quarterback at Texas, just because Quinn Ewers isn't great at the deep ball, he was open a couple times and just the ball placement not quite there, whether it was short, whether it was out of bounds. If he has a quarterback who can get him the ball on the money, 50, 60 yards downfield, who knows what Worthy can do.
Clark Hunt. Players pretty excited to get a call from Kansas City. I would say that for the draft, too. I'd say more so in the free agent stuff coming up, right? Are the Chiefs going to get – what are they going to get in the free agent now?
Especially when maybe you're a seasoned veteran and you're looking for a market to settle down in, and you're looking for a nice little place to raise a family. Oh, Kansas City is a great place to settle down.
Yeah, so for 1 year, and then I'm going
Exactly.
to get more stats, and then I'm going to get overpaid on the 3 years.
big money.
Yeah, man. Once upon a time, guys played for the ring. So why wouldn't you go to the place that's won 3 of the last 4?
I do think it's interesting when a small market team like Kansas City does kind of have this powerhouse of an influence to draw in draft pick, or I guess make draft picks excited and draw in free agents about coming to the Midwest, coming to the Great Plains. But the opportunity to play with Patrick Mahomes and play under Andy Reid, if you're there for 2 years, you got a pretty good shot of at least playing in a Super Bowl and at least a marginal chance of coming away with a Lombardi or a Super Bowl ring. I don't know. It sounds like a pretty fair shake to me.
What about the rest of the draft?
Kingsley Sumatia, I don't know if he can be a day one starter necessarily. He'll definitely be competing for it.
Sure.
He's a guy who I'd like to be able to just develop a little bit. I was kind of talking to, I think I was talking to Hesh this morning about it. It'd be cool to see him be a kind of 6th offensive lineman for the Chiefs this year, just have that opportunity to kind of get the NFL play speed, get used to that. But kind of before the draft, we had been talking about Webby looking for a tight end in the draft. Jared Wiley out of TCU, he's a great one to slot in there, kind of next to Travis Kelce. I think he can do some inline stuff, kind of similar to Kelce. Like, you don't want him there all the time, and then he can flex off the line and be kind of a vertical threat, kind of a speedy, athletic tight end. And I think in an Andy Reid scheme, he'll fit right in.
Love to watch how the Chiefs manipulate the draft. Do you remember all the offensive linemen that went in the first round?
Yeah, it was, I think, 9.
Who took a center
in the
first round?
Somebody who needed a center.
Trying to think.
It's hard to rally the fan base around, isn't it? You know,
he snaps the ball well.
You know, Pittsburgh, they went out and got an offensive lineman.
Troy,
I think they got a guard, right?
He's a guard, or he's a player who can play tackle or guard. He was primarily a left tackle at Washington, but he's got that kind of shorter, squat body than the athleticism to make people think. Yeah,
they put him on the picture. They get the squatty body dude.
Ideally, he's a guard at the next level, but if you need that kind of fringe flex tackle, you have a guy go down, you can kick him out if you need to do that. But I think he's got a lot of potential as a guard. I really liked him. Troy
Squatty
Fautanu.
potty body.
Yeah, and he is definitely one of those, you look at him and you think, that's a guard, not an NFL tackle. He doesn't have the kind of the length that you think of as a prototypical tackle.
But like, all kidding aside, I just called Patrick Mahomes a career maker. But if the guys are getting into the backfield and he doesn't have time to do whatever he does.
He never has time. He runs around.
But some of those quarterbacks, they say, well, he's the most sacked quarterback in the league. Well, they're preventing, so that offensive line's preventing. So, yeah, it's a lackluster pick. But if that's practically what you needed, I applaud that. Those guys are very important.
There? They got him to protect Russell Wilson. I mean,
is that who took him?
That's the Steelers took Troy Fautanu. Yeah.
Okay,
I
like the way the Chiefs play.
It's fun watching them trade up and what they give up and what they kind of don't have to give up sometimes to move. But like we said, in Veach we trust.
Yeah. Let's see the call on WXYT. Wenzel Perez, a 2-run homer. That's his first home run of his career. Detroit beats the Royals 4-1. So the Royals took the first game in the series, dropped the next 2. They'll start a series against the Blue Jays tonight, 5:30 here on KVGB. Rocco Baldelli talking about the home run sausage that has just turned the Twins red hot. So Kyle Farmer got this summer sausage after doing an ad with Cloverdale Farms last year. So I guess this stuff must last a while, right? He drags it in there, throws it on the table in the clubhouse. No one really ate it, but it just laid there. And the Twins were held scoreless for the first 5 innings of Thursday's series finale against the White Sox. And then their pitching coach thought the solution might be that sausage. So he brought it out to the Twins dugout. All right.
Let's see who can eat it when it's 110 out.
Well, I guess you just leave it around. I guess.
Well, that's what is it?
Yeah.
Is it because it's kind of like how football teams have like a turnover chain? Do they have like a home run sausage? Is that what I'm understanding?
Right, so I guess you go wave it around. I don't know. You
talk about a grand salami.
We've got our Billy's barbecue sauce here. That was a big thing in Kansas City. They would pour it on each other. They had the Rally Mantis. they have all kinds of weird things to do, and then you have certain teams that go back to movies from the 80s for their rituals. Made no sense when they had all those examples to choose from.
Okay, that one cut you heard in there was, it sounded like from the 16th hole at the Masters.
It's close. It was at the Drake Relays.
Right. It was Sterling's Tyus Wilson clearing the bar at 7-5 to move into a tie for the NCAA Division I national lead. Barr also an automatic qualifier for the U.S. Olympic trials coming up soon in Oregon. 3-time state champion Sterling High School missed his junior year due to the pandemic. He's tied for the third best all-time among Kansas high schools at 7-3.
Yeah,
you were there.
Saw the Nebraska jumpers going earlier, and I was like, yo, cool, I'll get to see Tyus jump in his college uniform. Wasn't going. Then I saw him warming up later, and he informed me that he had made the kind of the pro elite division, and then he proceeded to win it.
Okay, so who's the more impressive athlete? Tyus Wilson or our post player for Sterling?
Tyus was a pretty good jumper and hurdler, and he could jam it because he was a basketball kid, too. Yeah, standing next to him on the field, he's got to be probably 6'9" at this point.
I always forget my guy from Sterling.
Riffle.
Riffle.
Yes.
Gabe Riffle.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to bang bodies with Riffle, but
I don't think
Tyus would just
has
jump
Gabe
over.
ever stuffed it?
I don't believe so.
Which makes Gabe Riffle more impressive than even
scoring all those points.
He can jump as high as he wants. Riffle might still come away with a rebound. Just that savvy tenacity down low on the block. He's going to be box them around.
If you go up that high, he's going to back underneath you. You land on your head. You'll never do that again.
Exactly. Learn real quick.
You do not mess with Gabe Ripple.
But I want you to measure your door jam at home. It's probably, 7 foot, 7. Put your body over 7'5". The world record we looked this morning is 8 feet and a quarter inch. Just unbelievable. A human can put his entire body over something that high.
I know.
Makes no sense.
And land on something.
It would be vastly more entertaining if they didn't have a pit. But I saw a guy that scissored the bar when they were warming up, probably at 6 foot.
The scissors. That goes back to my day and the bear roll.
Yeah,
That's
warmed up, just casually went over the bar with it, and I was like, wow. Most people would love to go 6 foot.
Some of those guys jump so high. Yeah, you're Wilson. I mean, if you jump that high, just straight up in the air, wouldn't you have to go into a roll once you landed? But they land on their feet. I mean, it's like jumping off a pop machine. Are you going to be able to just land and in perfect position, or are you going to have to roll?
The elite athletes, they're well trained.
Yes, they are.
We need to combine the high jump with the steeplechase. Crocodiles included.
You know, you probably were a high jumper when you were growing up, right? Had some old mattress out there in your backyard, and then you'd go too far and you'd land on your shoulder. And
suspect we've all tried various elements of track and field. That's why track and field's magical. They're just kind of...
Oh, my gosh. Okay, then we're going to move.
I was never much of a jumper, I'll let you know, even in my young age.
Real quick, just to put it in perspective, Lolo Jones was going 3-time Olympian, runs 5th in the pro heat of the 100-meter hurdles, and 13:10. So she looks slow. The quickest high school girls' time ever in the state of Kansas is 13:62. So even at 41, no longer really a professional level athlete, would have blown away any girl ever in high school at 41.
I get it. I don't.
But that's why we like...
Well, I know. That's why you bring this...
track, because those times, that's how you compare it, unlike any other sport.
Have them race animals. That's the best way to put it, right? I mean...
The old Nintendo game, you had to race the cheetah. Power Pad.
Yeah, so instead of there used to be Shark Week, we should just do an Animal Week on Discovery Channel where we get an athlete and say, all right, one day you're going to race a jackrabbit, and if you beat him, we'll move you up to a greyhound, and if you can beat that, we'll move you up to a cheetah.
Would that be like a wind allowed? Would it not count if you set the 100-meter dash world record, but you also had a lion behind you? Does that count, or is that wind-aided? Lion-aided? I don't know.
Well, we also got to Are we allowed to put like a little treat at the end of the track for the human as well as the animal? Like we got to put a lure down there for the animal. Maybe put like a Snickers bar down there for the runner.
A carrot in front of you. I don't know. Our show brought to you by Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. And the Barton Cougar Booster Club continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. This was going to be the day that we didn't make Coach Biggs wait in the green room. But as always, I got us off path, my problem. We're going to talk Barton baseball coming up next.
Introducing Ag Mechanics at Barton Community College in partnership with Case New Holland Top Tech. Hands-on training in areas like electrical, hydraulics, and diesel engines, with technicians gaining the knowledge and skills needed to start a career with CNH Level 1 training. Join this high-demand field at a CNH dealership in only 9 months. Now enrolling for the fall semester. Learn more at toptech.bartoncccc.edu.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
We had a lady that was having some severe back and hip pain, and we worked with her for about 6 to 7 weeks, and we were able to actually restore greater than 80% of her mobility, and we were able to keep her from actually needing that surgery for about 4 years.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Smart stays on the road. That's why it's in your engine. Cenex Maxtron synthetic diesel engine oils give you the smartest oil for the toughest conditions. These premium oils maintain 80% of their viscosity throughout the drain interval for superior engine performance across extreme temperatures. That horizon looks good with the competition behind you. Cenex Maxtron diesel engine oils. Oil that runs smart.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on KVGB. Brought to you in part by Venture Corporation, reminding you to help a neighbor shop local when you can. By the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend, and by Equity Bank right here beside you. Go to equitybank.com. Barton baseball coach Brent Biggs is in on the studio. So you're kind of like, you have the same attitude I do on running, right?
Yeah.
Because that's, I mean, if you screw up in practice, what do you got to do, right?
Yeah, you go run.
You go run.
I was never any good at it. So anytime, I mean, you talk about motivators, they throw some running in your face and, okay, now it's time to go, because I hated it.
Okay, I had a buddy go to Emporia State a long time ago. I mean, this goes back to Dave Bingham was still the coach. And they had this thing they called the loop. And he said when he woke up in the morning, that's the first thing he thought about. I mean, his first thought of the waking day was they were going to go run the loop that day.
Yep.
And they ran more than the track team did.
It was wild, some of the stories, and Coach Bingham, I've never had to play for him, but Coach McBride played for him.
Oh,
Coach
really?
Warren
Okay.
played for him, and you hear the stories, and Coach Warren used to say, when he played, 4-3-2-1, so 4 singles, 3 doubles, 2 triples, and a homer. And if we give our guys that now, it's like a struggle to get through it. Coach Warren's like, shoot, I had to do 4 of those a day, and those guys were crazy back in the day, but it made them tougher, that's for sure.
Yeah, they did, but I guess I could go to Emporia and run the loop, but I've just really never had any inkling to do so. So, baseball. You guys play year-round, right?
Pretty close.
And then in the wintertime, you think, okay, well, that's when you're lifting and running.
Yeah,
right?
and anymore, you play till the end of October, so we kind of shut it down. So November, December is really no baseball, and then, January 8th or 9th or 10th is when we get back and we play baseball again. So it's 10 months out of the year anymore.
Yeah, you're a baseball coach, but you guys always have stopwatches.
Yeah, funny thing is, like, if you're going to be a baseball coach, you got to have a stopwatch and you got to carry it around. And
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you where mine's at, so maybe I'm not a very good baseball coach. So,
well, you run anyway; it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what do I need to think? We're going to run, make you make a play.
Pretty much, and maybe if I had a stopwatch, we'd be a little better at it. But it's, I try and use the eye test, and that doesn't always work. And my eyes are getting a little worse, so maybe that's the reason we struggle a little bit.
Brent Biggs in with us right now, coming off a 4-game series with Hutchinson. And, Coach, the Blue Dragons ended up taking 3 out of. This was a pretty good series, though, except Game 4, right? I mean, they kind of got away from you. You rally to come back. Big come-from-behind win Game 2 on Wednesday. You win 10-9. They come back, get the second game 7-2. And then, you hit a bunch of home runs, and it still wasn't enough to knock them off. You fall 12-10 in Game 1 of that doubleheader. This was a good Jayhawk Conference series, and one that, you shouldn't come back from and say, well, okay, we're running these guys at Region 6. Okay, let's go get them.
Yeah, and I just, it's one of those things. We can beat anybody, and we can get beat by anybody. That's kind of this year's team. But Hutch is really good. They got a lot of guys back, and those guys, they're playing with a ton of confidence, and we ran into kind of a buzzsaw in Game 1. Their number 1's going to Kansas State, so he was really good. And we had some opportunities. Our third base coach got a guy thrown out at home, when we were down 5. That guy over there, that would be me, and kind of killed the momentum. And then Game 2, we were kind of dead in the water. We were down 9-1 or 8-1, and we rallied and we chipped away, and then we had a big inning and found a way to win it. And so that was a really good feeling because we haven't really experienced that lately, and then Game 1 on the second day, we hit 3 solo home runs in the first inning, and you feel pretty good about it. And it was just the wind was blowing out, and you gotta hit them when guys are on, and we didn't. We hit 6 home runs, and I think 5 of them were solos. And like I said, Hutch is good. They keep coming, and we kept scoring. And then Game 4, it got away from us a little bit. But like I said, we can play with anybody, and for as good as Hutch is and for as much confidence as they have, when we're going right, we're just as good as anyone. So we just got to make sure we're going right.
So on the trip back from Hutch on Friday, what are you sitting there thinking as you're making that trip back?
Well, how about this? I drove separate. We had a big 10 and under softball tournament at Pratt.
Okay.
So my brain was a lot of thoughts. But I drove over and watched the 10-year-olds play and actually could enjoy myself for that inning. So
you weren't yelling at umpires.
I was not yelling at umpires,
Okay.
but it was a solo drive, so I was probably yelling at myself. But I will say this, is I learned my lesson last year at the softball game is I was asked to leave. And so now I just, whether they're wrong with the rule or whatever, I just sit there and keep to myself. So
Brent Biggs with us here on the Pro. So the third base coach.
Yeah.
Did they make, because that's one of your things. They've got to make a play.
Yep.
So they made a play.
They made a play. And it was one of those things. It was one of our slower runners, and made a play, and it was probably the wrong time, but you get antsy over there, and we're gonna go, and if you put it on the base and you make the play, you tip your cap, and we score there, and it might jumpstart something, and we didn't score there, and it kind of sucked the life out of us, but that's kind of what we do. We're gonna be aggressive, and we're gonna run, and more times than not, it works out, and when it doesn't, it's you cuss yourself a little bit.
Okay, man, big week. Need to get 4 against Garden City for sure, and then let the cards fall where they may, I guess.
Yeah, we put ourselves in a bad spot. There's still a lot that can happen, and we got Butler and Seward. We're going to need some help from those guys, and like you said, we're going to need to win 4 if we want to host, and we still need some help even if we win 4 because of tiebreakers and stuff. But whether we host or we go on the road, it's one of those things where we know what we need to do to be successful, and if we show up, I think we'll be just fine, and if we don't, we might be on our way home quickly.
Dodge City takes 3 or 4 from Butler. Good weekend for them.
Yep. I texted Dodge coach this morning. I said, hey, we needed 4. We needed 3, but thanks a lot. So it's one of those things. If we win 4, Butler has to only win 1. So they have to lose the series to Cloud this weekend. And then there's Seward has to, I think if they split, I think we win or we move up into 4. So there's a lot that can happen this weekend, and there's still a lot to play for.
Yeah, and Dodge is playing Colby, who swept Seward yesterday.
Colby, they struggled early, and they, Coach Carter does a good job down there. And I said, I'm glad we got you early because I think you're going to get hot, and it took them a while. But the last, 2 or 3 weeks, they've been pretty good. So they're kind of a dangerous team there at the end, too. And there's a lot that can happen. And in the West, I think Hutch kind of separated themselves.
Yeah.
And everybody else is very, very similar. So it'll be, this final weekend in the playoffs will be really interesting.
Cloud has proved to be pretty resilient this year.
Yep.
Is this one of their better teams they've had?
One of their better teams, and they, like I said earlier, they have the number 1 ranked JUCO prospect in the country. Which gets them off to a pretty good start in game 1, and they're older, and same thing. They have some really good players. They've continuously gotten better and better each year, and so they've kind of the last 3 or 4 years they've been towards the top half of the conference and continue to get better. So it's kind of interesting just the ebbs and flows of the teams that were really good 10 years ago, where they're at, and, how it can change overnight.
One of those has changed overnight. It's Garden City. So you got to take some hay against these guys. Tuesday, 2 at Garden on Thursday, then back for the final home doubleheader of the regular season on Saturday. So
it'll be nice. I feel like it's been a while since we've had a Saturday home doubleheader.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to kind of close it out, and hopefully we're playing to host at home, and because we've, I think, for the last 4 or 5 years been at home in the first round, and it's always obviously nice to host and play in front of your home fans and stuff too. So that'll be fun on Saturday.
Okay, so then the timeline, you'll find out after everything shakes out over the weekend, and then when do we get started on the best of 2 out of 3?
So it's best 2 out of 3 is Thursday, Friday, and then if necessary Saturday.
Okay.
So if you're on the road, you finish Saturday, you find out who you're playing Sunday, and then you leave on Wednesday. So it's a pretty quick turnaround.
It's always fun. I mean, East goes against West. I really like that format. Even we don't get that in basketball now like we used to, but for baseball, it's kind of, you got to carry the West flag. See who can get the most to the tournament.
Yep. And the East dominated for a while, and in the last 3 or 4 years, the West has kind of picked it up a little bit. So it is quite the competition, and there's some words that are shared, East to West, but it's a pretty good rivalry.
Just feelings right now heading into the week.
I'd like to say I feel good. I wasn't real happy after the weekend, and kind of had this feeling for 3 or 4 weeks now, and we're going to break through, and we have Garden City, which is struggling, and so it should be a real good confidence boosting weekend for us. Now, it could go the other way as well, but we should feel really good about ourselves heading into this weekend and after this weekend. And I think that's what we need, is we need a little confidence, and we need it to carry over, and we haven't found a way to do that. So feel good about it. Hopefully this is the exact thing that we need heading into the playoffs, and we can keep it rolling.
All right, Brent, appreciate it. Hey, maybe after the season's over with, we'll just get together, we'll drive to Emporia and run the loop, okay?
Yeah, I'll ride my bike. I'm a bike guy. I'm a big bike guy. So.
Well, I can go down that one hill on the other side. I don't know getting up it. So anyway, thanks, Brent.
Yep.
Brent Biggs with us, head coach of the Barton Baseball Cougars here on Sports Day. Jimbo's in. Jim Mizunas from Great Bend Tribune. Stay with us.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmys make it happen.
Are you a Class A CDL driver looking for a new opportunity? Venture Corporation is looking to hire several current valid Class A CDL drivers. And here are some great facts about driving for Venture Corporation that you will definitely enjoy. Higher pay, even higher pay if you have a hazmat endorsement. You'll be driving nice trucks, have more flexible hours, home most nights, and seldom any weekend work. Ready to team up with a homegrown, family-owned, and local company? Don't wait. Call Leslie at Venture Corporation today.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
He's covered more big games than anyone else in the Golden Belt. He might be on your sideline, in your gym, or just about anywhere there's a game. Sports Day presents the Great Bend Tribune's Jim Mazunas.
Jim Mazunas in studio. Sports Day brought to you by Next Tech Wireless. Experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansas. American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department, your certified Cenex lubricant dealer in Great Bend. You've got a big, you follow bigs every Monday. That's tough, but you come in there and, Jim, you handle it well.
Well, it's Jayhawk baseball has been very good for a number of years, and Hutch and Barton have had their share of great baseball teams.
Yeah.
So,
okay, we're going to start with tennis today.
Yeah, the league tournaments are today, and then the regionals get going later this week. So, Great Bend goes out to Dodge for the WAC tournament, and then Hoisington and Larned playing the Central Kansas League meet today. Great Bend has had an improving team. They keep very young still, but have done a good job. Chris Manning has done a good job piecing the team together, and Aiden Stacy and Aaron Ramirez have handled the singles, and then the doubles teams have been Jacob Parks and Caden Dinas, and Chasen Ramsey and Caden Pounds. And they've continued to improve and got their share of wins. They're hoping to, they've been mired in that last spot in the WAC or next to last. So hopefully they can move up a spot or two, maybe get third, and move ahead of a couple teams. Garden City is always a perennial powerhouse, and Hayes usually has some good doubles teams. So hopefully they can get up to third place today in Dodge City. And then later on this week, they'll go to Mays for the regional, 5A regional, and then Central Plains has been the power the last couple of years in small class, and Peyton Ryan's undefeated again. He's been a two-time state runner-up.
He's got to bring home that Ryan state championship.
Yeah, it's been very elusive. They've been on the doorstep numerous times. Ryan has lost 3 times to 3 state champions over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So there's only one thing that's missing out of his resume. So they go to Ellsworth later this week with Hoisington. Peyton's undefeated again, and then Camden Stiles is number 2 singles, and then Paxton and Peyton Doty is a very tough doubles team, and then Nathan Cawthon and Eldon Metro are the second doubles team. Larned and Hoisington boys have had struggles all year, and so they don't imagine that they'll have a shot of maybe squeezing somebody into 5th or 6th, but they've had a down year this year, and lots of times that's you turn your roster over and then you start all over and hopefully get those guys playing for 2 or 3 years. So Central Plains will be the team to watch. They go to Ellsworth Thursday and Friday this week.
If there was ever a sport, we got this multiplier thing floating out there, for private schools and public schools. This is the perfect sport. Maybe golf would be too. Tennis, private schools, go have your own tennis tournament.
They could certainly do it.
Yeah, they could, and then let the guys that don't belong to the the Wichita tennis club.
Yeah, tennis and golf have been the sports where the private schools, collegiate, Shawnee Mission Miege, Aquinas girls, and Hayden boys and girls have been very.
If you ever wanted,
that would be one. That would be 2 sports you could definitely do it: golf and tennis.
Yeah,
because they've certainly dominated their classes for sure.
Yes. Okay, there we go. You have a good relationship with Keisha, so you just need to give them a call right now.
I constantly remind Keisha of the things they need to change. And so far, they've been pretty good about changing silly stuff that they have. They still have a silly forfeit rule that's on the books, which is absolutely silly.
Okay, then the one seat. You're like Gerard Welbrock. I know what pulls his trigger. So what do you think about getting a win for a bye in the sub-state basketball tournament?
It is not a win. Thank you.
Baseball, softball.
Yeah, Great Bend, both in line to get a top 4 seed. softball 17-5 and baseball's 15-5, and they're both top 4 right now. So as long as they continue to close out their last few games, they're going to be top 4 and have home sites, which is fantastic news. I still believe that Great Bend softball was the best team in the WAC. I mean, I know they lost 2 of 3 to Hayes, but I still believe that they're a better team than Hayes. And Great Bend boys, they always seem like they're snake bit when they play Hayes baseball. But right now, Hayes is 12-7 and Great Bend's 15-5. So take that, Indians.
Yeah, and how are the West standings right now for softball and baseball?
Yeah, like I said, Great Bend girls, they're Great Bend girls are number 3 and Great Bend boys are number 3 because they both moved up a slot. And, really, if you can get top 4, you're still going to face a pretty good team in that second game. You're going to face a team that has a winning record more than likely. And I recall a few years ago, it was one of Randy Beck's best teams. They had the home site. Arc City comes out with a left-hander just throwing gas. They lose like 1-0 first game. And so there's no guarantee because sometimes the other team, especially in baseball,
at least one
they may
pitcher,
have
right?
one really good pitcher. That's why Larned, even though, they're actually, Larned's moved up to number 4 in the West, 4A West. They've got 2 quality pitchers. That's all you need. And actually 4A is easier than 3A in some respects because you have that third game in 3A, which can compromise certainly in baseball because you've got to have really 2.5 pitchers, maybe 3 to get through that regional in baseball. And Hoisington and I think Hoisington's still got a shot. They're 9-9. They've still got Smoky Valley and Larned left, but their regional, the second best record's 8-7 with Russell. So we'll see. They certainly have a good chance to have a decent chance. Now Hoisington softball, they've struggled of late. They've lost 3 or 4 games, and now they're down to number 3 seed. But the home site's at Hoisington, so they'll still have a shot in the Hoisington softball regional here in another 2 weeks.
Track and field getting down. It's fun when you get into WAC conference championships.
Yeah, it's fun because Lyles Lashley is famous for this. He likes to peak his team just right. I guess they go to Topeka today. They were weathered out Friday, and give it another go this week, and then go to Salina later this week. So they have 2 meets this week, and their girls have had another good season. The pole vaulters at Hoisington have done tremendous. Yeah. Josiah Ball and Chalamet Farmer, state champions last year, and Ball's gone 15-7, which is an incredible pole vault. I mean, I've got the only place I've ever seen bigger pole vaults is a state meet when they go 16 feet. So that's a tremendous effort on Josiah Ball's part. And then Lauren Osher of Central Plains has done very well in her field events, and St. John's Quade Smith has had a good year in the middle distance. And then Ellenwood Golf, 2-time runner-up, Drew Hines went to Hutchinson for Cary Park for the biggest tournament in the state in the spring, and ended up tying for 11th with a 3 over par 74. So tremendous effort by Hines to play with the best players in the state and show that, hey, you can hold your own and finish with a top 20 medal.
If you play at Ellenwood, you better be good with the
short
wedge. You better be.
That's a fun course, but you better be shooting your 9 iron and your wedge pretty well that day.
And leave it in front of the green.
Don't go over the don't go over the green. Ellenwood's a fun little course.
Oh, absolutely.
And then Great Bend Golf has their home tournament today out at Lake Barton. So good luck to them. And they're getting to the end of their season, and we'll see how that comes out today.
Okay, and Dylan Edwards.
Yeah, that's a great plus for K-State football.
Yeah, so he'll be back until he decides to go somewhere else.
Yeah, hopefully he enjoys his time in Manhattan. I think he'll enjoy it a lot more than trying to vie with the coach's son for offensive attention at the University of Colorado, where Dylan Edwards had 1 game of 350 yards, and then head coach said, no, you're not going to do that the rest of the year. So he shut him down the rest of the year. So unfortunately, that sometimes happens. You see it more at the high school level. You usually don't see it at the collegiate level.
Yeah, so K-State, that's their biggest signing so far.
Yeah, it offers a triple option possibility with a big power running back, a scat back, and a run pass quarterback. They can certainly run some triple option plays there at K-State this next fall.
Yeah, exciting times. Okay, Jim, appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Yep, you're welcome.
Jim Azunas in with us. Mike Corson goes on the prowl with Lyles Lashley. Great Bend Track and Field right after this.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Barton Community College enrollment days are back. Registration is now available for all sessions through July 24th. Make the enrollment process fun, fast, and simple. Reserve your spot to get everything set up for the fall semester in just one day. Visit with an academic and financial advisor, enroll in classes, take a tour of campus, and more. Visit enroll.bartonccc.edu to sign up.
Need to make a change? Get the latest devices at Nextech Wireless. Right now, you can get up to $1,000 off a new phone like the Samsung Galaxy S24 or the iPhone 15. Well, what are you waiting for? Make the switch now. Nextech Wireless. Home on the range.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today. Well, it's Monday. It must be Lyles Lashley time. Great Bend track and field coach. Coach, walk me through the weekend's events. Obviously, severe weather was predicted kind of well in advance. When did you guys find out you weren't going to Topeka?
First of all, though, you got to talk. The outfield just gets me in a good mood every morning. You know, every Monday morning when I hear the outfield, it's great. So, no, but on Friday morning about 9 o'clock, we were leaving at 10:30. We got a message saying there was a possibility they might switch it to the day. We were hoping to get in here Friday, just because we didn't think the weather was going to be that bad. I think the eastern schools, think wind's a little, 15-mile-per-hour winds are a little rougher than we do out here. But, I know there was a chance for severe weather, and they had some tornadoes in that area. But we're fortunate and happy to go today since there's going to be no wind, 73 degrees and sunny. So should be a good little weather day today for us.
Well, so since you didn't go on Friday, we will talk anything and everything track and field that you want to talk about. So just coming back from the Drake Relays, I got to see Drake Stadium. I would ask you, do you have a favorite facility that you've been to in your long tenure as a track and field coach and athlete?
I never went to the Drake Relays. I qualified as an athlete, I think my junior year, and I actually got sick that week and couldn't go. But we always went to Texas Relays when I was at Barton. When I coached in Texas, Texas Relays is always just a wonderful place to go to. Everybody there is very track knowledgeable. But we used to go to a meet in Houston at Texas Southern, of all places. When I coached in Texas, and we went there a few times at Barton. But every old man in the stadium has their stopwatch in their hand. They're splitting everybody, even splitting 4x1s. Even though it's nearly impossible, but they're doing it. Everybody there is so track knowledgeable. Just makes it good. But probably my favorite, most everybody's favorite is Hayward Field in Oregon, where you blaze the track in, I think, 48 seconds.
Okay, I thought you were going to say the real time.
I was talking about the first 200.
Yeah, you might be pushing that. Crazily enough, at Drake Relay, so as I'm walking into Hayward, I'm scared that I'm going to walk. I'm scared of my time, and I don't even know my time, but I asked a kid I walked in with, hey, what do you normally run the 400? He says, well, it's not really fair. I'm on the Air Force track and field team, so probably like a 52. That kid was jumping at the Drake Relays this weekend, and I got to catch up with him.
Oh, that's cool.
So you talk about Hayward. You probably got to see Old Hayward and New Hayward?
Yeah, I've yet to see New Hayward. I saw Old Hayward quite a few times. One year we were there for the Olympic trials. I think we had 3 athletes competing, and we went. But they put the athletes up in a hotel. They put us up in a dorm room. Our dorm was directly across the street from Hayward. We literally had to walk 50 feet to be in the parking lot of Hayward. It was awesome. I mean, you could go watch whatever you want in the Olympic trials if our kids weren't competing. You just walk over there and come back to the dorm room, rest for a little bit. Do whatever you wanted. It was awesome. That's probably my favorite part of the time of going to Hayward right there. So, yeah, I think but I definitely want to get out there for the new Hayward.
Yeah, we're talking to Panther Track and Field Coach Lyles Lashley. Kind of an off day Friday with the weather moving into Topeka. They'll go today. Yeah, so I was on the fence Thursday. Actually emailed him at 9:30 at night, seeing what kind of access I had, whether it'd be worth it, what would happen if weather did pop up. But I was looking at pictures before I emailed. Drake Stadium holds about 14,500 compared to only about 12,500 for Hayward. So I was a little shocked that the track mecca, even though it's way more gorgeous, actually held less people. How about Pitt State Indoor? Have you seen just yesterday Bermuda?
The meet, Bermuda, yeah, the pro meet.
Yeah, the Bermuda meet was on. Another Pitt State kid there. I know Pitt State typically takes many of Kansas's best. Have you been to their indoor facility?
Yeah, we've been quite a few times with indoor high school meets, actually. They've been moved to the first week of January, so we hadn't been in a few years. But to me, that's probably one of the top 3 nicest indoor facilities in the country. And what's crazy is I think KU probably has about the 4th or 5th best indoor facility in the state now.
And then we've talked about facilities. I believe today is Jim Ryan's birthday. Obviously, the big record holder, still the only high schooler in Kansas to ever break 4 minutes in the mile. I think he ended up at 3:51, had the world record for a while. Any crazy things you've ever seen on the track or in the field?
Just depending on, you're talking about the high school level or the pro level?
Either or. Anything just nuts.
When I was in college, I actually went to the Olympic trials in New Orleans, and on the way down, my dad had to stop at every convenience store on the way down to get a lottery ticket. So as we walk in, Butch Reynolds had just finished the 400 at the Olympic trials and ran the fastest time ever on Olympic soil. So that was one of the things that was crazy, but I didn't actually see it. I just watched him finish. So that was one of the misses of the things I've seen. But no, I've seen a whole lot of stuff in the Olympic trials and even JUCO nationals. I remember one year at Barton, we had Tyson Gay was our 3rd best guy in the 100. He ran 10 flat at the national meet and got 3rd to our other 2 guys. Steve Mullins, a guy named Eric Wilson. Eric Wilson ran 9.92, and he went on to play football at TCU. And for the year that TCU won the national championship, the 2nd week of practice, he blew out his knee and never ran again. So that was kind of a sad thing. But I've seen a girl triple jump, run 2:14 and then triple jump 2:14 to 4x8, and 5 minutes later triple jump 42 feet. Which I thought was pretty dang impressive too. So
yeah, it's a different breed. Just this weekend at Bermuda, somebody tried running, I think, the 400 hurdles and then was going to pace the 800, and she made it about 250 and had to drop out. So they tried different things.
That girl from Arkansas last year running the 400 and the 400 hurdles at like the SEC meet was pretty dang impressive too.
Yeah, and I think she had to split eventually for one of the bigger meets just because they're so back to back. But yeah, I'm going with my boy Jakob Ingebrigtsen and Jared Naguse going 3rd and 4th fastest miles of all time and missing the world record in kind of a premier event, which is the mythological 4-minute mile. They were like at 3:43, so unbelievable to see that and then hear comments and get to talk to those guys afterwards. Nice little feather in my cap.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing too.
So yeah, bringing it back to Great Bend real quick. Fastest 4x8 girls time in the state this year is Olathe West. I think it's a 9:33. Great Bend's at 9:50. Got to see an Iowa team run this weekend at 9:01. Went number 1 all-time Iowa history, but just remarkable to see.
When I saw you posted it, I pulled up their splits. I think they were 210, 218. I know there's another 210 on the end. 216 was the 4 splits for them. That's pretty dang impressive.
Yeah,
to run that fast.
Yeah, and one more quick thing about Drake relays. They have it's not the rough surface, it's the Olympic surface from 2008 and 2012. So a lot of people hit the turf this weekend and probably appreciate, but kind of a cool surface. I wonder how much that impacted what they were doing.
They say Hayward Field, their surface is so hard, it's unbelievable. That makes it just so fast. It's not really a good surface to train on, but the race on is unbelievable. Some surfaces are like that, where they make it hard and it just almost from like asphalt just coming off there, and where it's not too cushiony, where you give a lot. But I mean, if you look at the sprint times always at Hayward since they redid the track, they're always impressive.
Coach, I bet we could go all day picking your brain about track, but I will let you get on to Topeka.
Thank you, boss. Thanks, Mike, for all you do.
Good luck today. More sports day after this.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Amy Herrera, Regional Retail Manager for your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many people navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you how we're committed to serving you in our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Sports Day also brought to you in part by Eller Automotive Repair, a local mechanic that can help, behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, and in part by Equity Bank, your hometown sports partners. Visit one of their local area banks in Great Bend, Larned, Maxville, and St. John, or just visit equitybank.com. Mentioned this was Jim Mizunas, Aaron Clark. That Mr. Edwards.
Dylan Edwards.
Going to K-State. Reunited. Well, he's not really reunited with Avery Johnson, but I guess the last time those two teams hooked up, when May South took on Derby, they combined for had 6 touchdowns in that game.
A lot of offense. Did you see the recruiting picture that Johnson put out to try to get Edwards to K-State?
No.
Because apparently when they're young lads playing in like the Pop Warner League or whatever, little backfield duo of couldn't have been more than 10-year-old Avery Johnson handing the ball off to Dylan Edwards. And so maybe that little throwback to when they were kids helped out. Maybe it's just the trajectory of K-State football.
He was going to go to K-State. Then he was going to go to Notre Dame. Then he ended up at Colorado. Had a tremendous game in the opening game against TCU. And then was Mizuno said, well, I wanted to keep those, Coach Prime kids more happy than they did Dylan Edwards.
It's going to be fun to see what happens when Colorado and K-State meet for the first time as Big 12 opponents. Maybe Dylan Edwards has a little bit of a revenge game, puts up 5 touchdowns in a game or whatever. It wasn't that against TCU, but I'm excited to see what he can do with Avery Johnson and get DJ Giddens, just a different running back than what they had. Giddens is kind of that power back, while Edwards can be a little bit of a lighter touch.
Yeah, 6,426 yards, 95 touchdowns, 32 100-yard rushing games out of 36 total games played. Yeah.
Back where he belongs.
Yeah. And then he'll go back to Colorado next year, and then he'll play K-State again. And
but it'll be the Air Force or something.
All right, talk to you tomorrow on Sports Day.
Agriculture Today on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM is brought